Turn up the radio and sing along. It's time for another great song. This is the Great Song Podcast.
Season's greetings and welcome once again to the Great Song Podcast. I'm Rob Alley.
I am JP Mosier.
And we're here to celebrate the greatest songs in modern music history. We're going to tell you why they're great, why we think they're awesome, and why you should too. JP, how we doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm here in a room about the size of a Ford Taurus, hanging out with Rob and another fellow ginger, good friend, musician extraordinaire, keyboard player through the roof, drummer off the charts.
Janson Furrow.
Nailed it. Jason Hunter Furrow.
No, ladies and
Janson.
gentlemen, Janson Furrow, who... The first thing you need to know about Janson is whenever he goes into a restaurant and they ask for your name, like at the counter or whatever, he just tells them Jason. Because
It's not worth
They
it.
always forget the N.
Yes.
Every single
if
time.
I say Jansen, they're like, Jason? Or they spell it Jantzen. and
Try
it's just
being
not.
initials. I get JT, TJ, PP. That's always a good one. So I just kind of roll with that.
Hey, PP!
I'll roll.
order ready for PP.
Yeah, that's me. I normally give the name Yorder because I like to hear him go, Yorder's ready.
Oh, my gosh.
I like that one.
That's so very JP.
That's a good one, right?
Wow. Well, JP, tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience can get to know you. Where can we find you online? What do you got going on
I think
these
you just
days?
asked me to introduce myself.
Did I say JP?
You did.
My
Sorry.
name is
We're both
JP. My hobbies
redhead.
include
I
ping
know.
pong,
This is like this
the
is
UT Vols.
this recording is like the Ginger Council of Elders.
Oh,
like,
man.
You know what I mean? We're just
Can I be the Ginger Gandalf? That's all I want.
sure, absolutely. Absolutely. You shall not pass. Janson, tell us a little bit about yourself. I guess JP already did. Musician extraordinaire. Where can the people find you online?
People can find me online at Jansen the Ginger on Instagram. Follow me as I follow Christ. Halle. On there, you'll see a lot of the places that I go with different groups. I travel with a few different groups, ministry related, missions related, also secularly. Just depends on the week, depends on the day. But music is my game. Rob and JP are two of my greatest friends. Rob has helped me through the toughest times in all of my life.
Hey,
and
now listen.
has-
We don't. I know you're new here. But we don't really do serious.
no serious. Okay, Rob.
We don't
is-
really go there.
Rob's beard is just, if you can just touch it, the hem of his beard, then you'll be healed. That's how it goes out here. But I love it. And thank
Welcome
y'all for letting
aboard,
me be.
Jansen. We're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been too long. We literally waited to do the song for you. By the way, if you're listening on release day, then this song is going to have a special significance for you because today, release day, is September 21st. And the song that we're doing today is none other than September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let's take a listen.
Do you remember when it first started? September, love was changing the minds, tender, while chasing the clouds away. Our hearts were ringing in the key that souls were singing as we danced in the night. Remember how the stars stole the night away.
The groove in here is so strong right now. Like, we're dancing.
It's thick.
We're in a very small space. We're recording. We're recording in the entryway to a bathroom today.
Also known as a closet.
Also, like it's so normally the studio that we record in is the space that we normally go to, but today it's there's some other stuff going on in there, so we couldn't. So today we're across the building in like. We're literally in the, what do you call it, like the bathroom foyer?
Foyer.
We're
That's very-
sharing a 57 mic. We're just all around one
That's
mic.
right. We're so close, you guys. Like literally our cheeks are touching each other's lips. Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. But I don't even know why I felt the need to share that, but I just want you all to know how close we are right now. Like it's just a room full of red hair.
I smell
Basically
the
what's
sweat.
happening right now. So September, happy September 21st. The 21st night of September is the setting for today's song. September, released as a single in 1978 by the band Earth, Wind, and Fire, included in the album The Best of Earth, Wind, and Fire Volume 1, but originally recorded during the sessions for 1979's I Am. Not included. I find that chronology a little strange that they were going in the studio. I guess they just got in the middle of the song and realized this is a banger. We got to get this out immediately. Mm-hmm. So they released it as a single only. We've talked about before that like that doesn't really happen anymore.
Can't really find it on a non-album. Like there's not just a single floating around out there. Somebody has it on their album for the most part.
John Mayer's been doing it a little bit recently, but that's kind of the only example that I have of somebody just putting out a single. Has she?
Yeah, she's been trying to, and also, I mean, I don't know how many people know, like the Binions and whatnot, they're releasing everything as singles, and then it becomes one album.
Okay, so yes, that is kind of, we've talked about that as a trend.
But it eventually ends up on a part of a project.
Yeah.
But whereas this was just on
the best
it's
of.
floating around out there and on a greatest hits album.
Yeah. So originally recorded for the sessions for the 1979 album I Am, but not included on the album. It was included in the best of, which came out in 78, and then as a single. Charts and awards, it hit number 1 on the U.S. R&B chart, number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, and number 3 on the UK singles chart. They like to party in the UK. This is a universal groove, universal, party. Written by Al McKay, guitarist for Earth, Wind, and Fire. Maurice White, who is kind of the driving visionary. When you think of Earth, Wind, and Fire, you think of Maurice White.
Maurice.
Shouts out to my son, whose middle name is Maurice, and my father-in-law, whose middle name is Maurice, and his dad, whose first name was Maurice. We got a long line of Maurices. Shout out to Steve Miller, who some people call Maurice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And Allie Willis, the third writer on this song. And I really can't wait in researching for this song and prepping for this song. The thing that really just leapt off the page to me was Allie Willis. I didn't know anything about her before the song, but now I feel like we have bonded. And she's part of my soul now. So I can't wait to talk about her and everything that she's done in the songwriting community. Yeah, the song is in the key of A major, party key, right? I don't know why. It's a good guitar key, though. Key of A major. Tempo of about 126, but we were kind of talking offline while we were listening. If you listen to the song on repeat, you'll get to the end, and then when it hits the beginning of the track again, you'll go, man, this feels slow. Like this song speeds up. They didn't record this to like a metronome or anything like that. So as the party gets rocking, the beat kind of runs away a little bit. And so when you hit that loop again, listen to it a second time, you go, was it this slow the first time? Like did something change? Something happen? Okay, what you got on this song, Janson? You got anything interesting you want to talk about?
I love how the genre is described as Afro pop.
Afro
pop.
Wow.
First of all,
that's racist.
It's something. Yeah,
it's racist.
It's what's on there. I don't know. I mean, you get the R&B, soul, funk, jazz, disco. I mean, it hits all genres that I can think of. And you've covered the nostalgic aspect of it as far as that goes, like the logistics of what it took to be able to get it there, but. In my own life, I had a rule that whenever it is that I first heard this song, that not a lot of people know this, that I would, no matter what the 21st night of September was, no matter what day it was, if I was dating somebody or if I was interested in somebody, I would always make it a point that year to be able to say, like, okay, this is going to be the day where I'm going to take out this girl. Like I see this girl, I've never talked to her. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. I've got red hair and freckles. How's she going to talk to me? This was the night, this was the day always that I would be like, I'm going to ask her out, and I did. And
was this your pump up song to get you going?
Yeah, well, it was my pump up. I also listened to this on my college graduation, which was in like December. But I woke up that morning like, but I love the listen to it with a stereo mix. If you're just listening to it with headphones, you hear there's a few guitar parts that get me. Just at the very beginning, he's not wailing, he's not going anything like that, but it's
so funky.
Yeah, it's just funky. It's like it's just single string, but at the same time, if you think about it, if you take that out, it takes. I don't know if the song would ever be the same.
Yeah,
let's listen to
the super clean guitar part at the beginning. Because it's good to note that. Let's take a listen to that again.
That's all it is.
Come on. And then this. Sold. Sold. Whatever it is, I'm buying.
Yep.
You know what I mean? At that point, it doesn't really matter what comes after that. If you get, you got me right there so hard, it doesn't really matter what comes next. We should mention that the reason we brought Janson in particular on this song is just because like this song means so much to you. Like this is your jam. It's your ringtone. It's, you know what I'm saying?
It's my ringtone way before today.
Yeah, way before today. Like this is an important song to you. So I wanted to make sure we got your perspective. We want to celebrate it from every angle. So I know you've got major love for this song.
My phone is always ring. So in not just in music, in just playing, I also do bookings for different people. So my phone is usually ringing throughout the day to be able to do this, that, and third. And I just got so tired. I got to the point of where it was getting stressful. Like if I would hear my phone ring, I'd be like, oh my gosh. And my heart would start racing and all the bad things. I was like, how can I alleviate that, but still pick up my phone? Earth, Wind, and Fire. So now every single time I hear it, I'm like, hey, can you call me back? Like I'll answer it. Hey, call me back just one more time. And I'll go through the whole entire process again. So now it's just a flavorful.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Flavorful. Flavorful. Big old clock.
A flavored
necklace.
clock.
Flavored clock necklace. Yeah. JP, you got anything you want to get into on this song?
Nope. No. Yeah, no.
Hey, we're done.
Can't stand it.
I don't know where to go. I've got different angles I can go. I think the September 21st trivia thing is pretty neat. So I was looking up stuff that happened on September 21st to tell you.
Okay.
So I had this little game I was going to play, but for the sake of time, I don't know if I can pull it off. I looked up all the celebrities that I could find that were born on September 21st.
Okay.
And I was going to play an audio clip of them and see if you guys could guess who it was.
Oh, wow.
But that,
how about you do an impression instead?
oh, man. Let's see if I can give clues to get people. Okay. There's one will go married Tim McGraw.
Faith Hill.
So there we go. Faith Hill. Other one has a really cool dance.
Is it the Locomotion?
It's not, but really good friends with Will Smith.
MC Hammer.
DJ Jazzy Jeff?
Nope.
Who are we talking about here?
Hey, this is Carlton. Alfonso
Alfonso Ribeiro. Nice.
Ribeiro. Other guy. So I made all these little clips that would have been great to play, and I left the cassette in my car. This other guy, not Uncle Jesse. Not Bob Saget.
Uncle Joey?
Uncle
Dave
Joey.
Coulier?
Dave Coulier.
September 21st.
Born on September 21st. Not Noel Gallagher, but the other one. Liam.
Now, let's see. Which one is the jerk?
Both.
Okay.
Now, they're actually on
Yes.
speaking terms now. I
good for
heard.
them.
So good for them. Maybe we'll get to hear Wonderwall again. Big Cubs fan. Groundhog Day.
Bill
Murray.
September 21st.
September 21st,
Okay.
a big
I know,
day.
like
and
him.
I really wanted to do a Jason Derulo impression, but I could not pull it off, so he's on there. So those are September 21st birthdays.
Hey, that's cool.
So we didn't do the game. We did our own little mini version of the quick version of the game.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into kind of the guts of the song and the writers and all that good stuff.
Yes.
First of all, let's talk about the lyrical elephant in the room. How about that? And one of the great mysteries surrounding this song. I'm talking, of course, about Badia. It's what is it? Where did it come from? We're gonna solve that mystery for you today. So here's the mystery of Badia. It is a spiritual phrase that if you repeat it over and over, it increases your funk levels by like 75%. So if you just sit in a room, you have to wear an all white tunic. A belt is allowed. It doesn't have to be like full blown dress. It can, belt around the tunic. But it is said that if you sit in the foyer of a bathroom in a white tunic, which I'm about to pass out for you guys, and say this for an hour, Badia, 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 over and over and over, then your funkiness levels will be increased.
Is it like the Bloody Mary? Like if you say it 5
It is,
times, it
yes.
turns like
Beetlejuice.
yeah, like Maurice is going to show up in the mirror. And he'll descend from the heavens.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, I guess we've solved that. Check. Moving on. No, so Badia was originally a placeholder lyric that Maurice White used. He used it all the time in his writing process. It was just anytime he had a melody or a groove or something and it didn't necessarily have the lyrics, that was kind of his like go-to not garbage phrase, but like his placeholder. You know, people do it all the time. Songwriters, it's kind of a scat phrase,
Yes,
you know. And so he included it in the demo of this song, and it just kind of stuck. They like did it so much that it just stayed in the demo and stayed in the demo, stayed in the demo. Allie Willis, the other lyricist on this song, expressed some concern over it eventually, and she just said, "This is her quote. I just said, what the bleep does Body-Ya mean?"
Yeah.
He essentially said, "Who the bleep cares?" And then she said, this is great. She said, "I learned my greatest lesson ever in songwriting from him, which was never let the lyric get in the way of the groove."
Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's A flat right there. No, it's an A. Excuse me.
Hey, but that's right.
Yeah. So, never let the lyric get in the way of the groove. I almost totally agree. Like, if we're talking pop music, now most of my context as a songwriter is in like gospel music.
Sure.
So it's the
Lyrics
flip.
gotta matter in gospel music.
It's kind of the flip there.
Jesus and Buddy.
Somebody has turned this into some weird, bad Christian parody.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Immediately.
somebody has done this. And I
salute
don't
you.
even want to find out who. So yeah, Body-Ya was originally a placeholder lyric, and it just stuck. And Allie Miller learned a lesson from Maurice White. Her greatest lesson: never let the lyric get in the way of the groove. Anybody you got anything else on Body-Ya before we?
We got some good Allie Willis stuff. You want to?
Oh man, I do really want to talk about Allie Willis.
jump on that
Why don't we-
because I'd like to see where that goes.
Okay. So Allie Willis, you may not know. I had no idea who she was, but she is an important contributor to American songwriting. 2018 inductee into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Allie on that recent accomplishment. Known mainly for her collaborations with Earth, Wind & Fire, but she's also written or co-written tons of hits. Pointer Sisters, the Pet Shop Boys. One of my personal favorites from this list. She co-wrote Joe Esposito's "You're the Best" from the Karate Kid.
Oh my goodness! Yes. What a good reference back.
Yeah.
To, we keep coming back to that.
Keep
one.
coming back to Karate Kid, and specifically the songs from Karate Kid. So yeah, she wrote "You're the Best," but that's not the most. I don't know. This next cut of hers is as well known or more well known than September, and that's going to be. She wrote.
Do you want to play it?
Yes.
Let's play it.
Okay, let's just play it.
This is exciting
Absolutely.
because I think I know where you're going.
Let's do it.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
1, 2.
Your job's a job, life's the way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. I'll be there for you like I did then before. I'll be there for you 'cause you're there for me too.
Yeah, baby. That's "I'll Be There For You" by the Rembrandts.
By the Friends.
By the Rembrandts and Friends.
Yeah. So yeah, Allie Willis wrote "I'll Be There For You," which has a fascinating story of its own. You could almost do a whole episode on it. You want to talk about it, JP?
No, we could just do a little. I know that they didn't want it released as a single because they didn't write it.
The Rembrandts
didn't want it released as a single. She wrote the.
I bet they didn't mind when those royalty statements came out.
She wrote the 60-second TV jingle.
Yeah.
That's what she wrote, and then they wrote the bridge, and so she basically just wrote the jingle part.
Yeah.
And then they went on. They get zero credit on writing the theme, but they get credit
show.
on the album.
Oh, okay.
So that's where they get their. So they wanted to sell tons of albums,
Yeah.
obviously. So they didn't, but they didn't want it on the album because they didn't write it. So they got some royalties off of it because of people buy the song if they know that they wrote it.
Yeah.
But most people don't go looking for Rembrandt's albums
Right.
for
Yeah.
the Friends that I don't know.
Yeah. But no, that song was huge though. I remember the video was all over MTV.
Yep.
You know, it got tons and tons of airplay just on its own. God knows you couldn't go anywhere for 3 minutes without hearing it on the radio.
My favorite fact about that song from her perspective is she hates the claps. She
really?
can't stand the claps. It wasn't on the demo
Yeah.
or the way she wrote it at all, and she can't stand it. And even when we were listening back through, we immediately jumped in and did the claps. And I bet 93% of you guys out there that were listening did the claps along with us.
Send us a tweet at Great Song Pod and let us know if you clapped along while you were listening.
So yeah,
we want to know.
That would if you didn't, it's because you just have us as background noise and didn't even realize that the song was playing because it's so contagious on that. But yeah, that's something that I was going to touch on.
Here's something that I found fascinating about it. So Allie Willis was already, an established songwriter at this point. Obviously, she'd been working with Earth, Wind, and Fire and all these other artists forever, since the 70s. But she was at the end of a publishing deal. So when you sign a publishing deal, well, this will make sense in a second. She was contracted to write a certain amount on this publishing deal, and she was 1/7 of a song away, credit-wise, from being done with her publishing deal. So she's trying to get out and get done with her publishing deal. She was 1/7 of a song the way it worked out. So you do co-writing and you get a certain amount of credit, right? And so let's say, over time you get these fractions of songs that are just hanging out there. I wrote a third of this song with so-and-so, you know what I mean? Depending on how your publishing company structures their things. So she was 1/7 of a song away. Well, it just so happened that one of the producers of Friends, who she had worked with before, called her publishing company looking for a composer who was, quote, quirky yet commercial. And they gave it to Allie Willis. She said, I always get those. Quirky yet commercial. I'm the one that they come to. And if you go to her website, it is quirky. That is a top 3 adjective you would use to describe her website. It is very quirky. She's kind of found a second career in technology. Like long before anybody else was doing it, she was networking computers in her house as her writing and recording setup, and like she's very into the technology end of things now. And so her website really reflects sort of her fascination with technology and just kind of weirdness in general. So her website, you should go. I highly recommend you go check this out. It's a lesson unto itself. Her website has her original unedited notes from the entire writing process of this song. So from her original ideas on paper, to the finished version with notes from the producers, and you see the entire evolution of the song typed out from starting line to finish line. From where it came from. And it starts out nothing like the version that you know. Absolutely nothing like the version that you know. My favorite line that didn't make it, so the original is, so no one told you life was going to be this way. Your job's a joke. You're broke. Your love life's DOA, right? My favorite line that didn't make it, one of the versions was, so no one told you life was going to be this way. Your cat is dead. Your cat is dead. You're broke. Your love life's DOA.
That took it up a notch in intensity.
Yeah.
That's an eyebrow raiser.
Yeah.
And it doesn't rhyme.
No. That's and none of the versions rhymed until your job's a joke. So that internal rhyme is such a strong hook there. Your job's a joke, you're broke. It really works. But in the notes leading up to the final version of it, none of them rhyme. So it's like, I can't remember what the others are, but my cat, your cat is dead was definitely my favorite.
Ooh, yeah.
So yeah, Allie Willis also wrote the Broadway musical version of The Color Purple. Like, she's just done a little bit of everything, and quirky yet commercial, I think, is definitely a fitting descriptor for her style.
Is that a good segue into Meet the Band?
Yeah.
So we can talk about
Let's
the
do
other
it.
writers on there?
Absolutely. Let's meet the band.
Hey, let's meet the band. It's time to meet the band. Hey, mama, let's meet the band. Let's all meet the band. Hey!
Okay, we're going to meet the band of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Kind of tough to know who to start with this because they basically have 2 co-frontmen, I guess, kind of deal. I'm going to actually start with Philip Irvin Bailey instead of Maurice White. So we're going to, on lead vocals, recorded Easy Lover with Phil Collins.
Phil Collins, I love that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. He also shared the lead part on Shining Star with Maurice. His son is now a member of Earth, Wind, and Fire. My favorite thing that he did, though, aside from the Phil Collins thing, is he put together this band to support one of my favorite albums. It's called I'll Be Thinking of You by Andre Crouch. Listen to the backing band on this album. Abram Laboriel, who played with Michael Jackson on the Dangerous album, and a ton of other people.
Tons of,
Leland Sklar also played bass. So if those are your 2 bass players, I mean, he played with over 2,000 albums. America, Hall & Oates, Collins, Joe Cocker. Keys and piano, Billy Preston from the Beatles, and on harmonica, Stevie Wonder. So that's a pretty good little backing band
Yeah,
for
not
that
terrible,
album.
not terrible.
Also good at putting stuff together. The other front man, lead vocals, band leader, founder, nominated for 22 Grammys, Maurice White. Developed Parkinson's in the late 80s. Still had
I really thought you were.
he invented Parkinson's.
Yeah.
I don't know how I rolled that out. He came up with this thing called Parkinson's. It's really catching on. Okay, I've got to stop there. So we'll have to edit that out. He stopped touring with them because of that. Actually died in 2016. But the coolest things I thought that he did, aside from Earth, Wind, and Fire, he played drums on Fontella Bass's Rescue Me. You know that song? Rescue Me.
Oh, yeah.
He's the drummer
No kidding.
on that. Yep. And he also played on drums on Your Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher,
Yeah.
Jackie Wilson song. So another good one.
He's
too.
also a Tennessee boy
Is he?
Yeah.
from Memphis.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Good plug in there.
Dynamite drop in. by the way.
Dynamite drop in. Right. He's credited with bringing the kalimba into pop music, which is like a thumb piano.
Yep,
with recorded with all kinds of people: Stevie Wonder, Barry Manilow, Barbra Streisand. But I didn't realize he was such a prolific drummer. Like that's
Yeah, I didn't either. Didn't know.
because he basically just fronts this band now, or that's what we saw him on bass. Brother Maurice Verdine White. He's in everything that Earth, Wind, and Fire is related. Everything he has, he's played on everything with them. In 2008, he won the Bass Player Magazine Lifetime Achievement Award, and was given that by Nathan East. He played on Jennifer Lopez, Kelly Clarkson, even a Flo Rida album.
Yeah.
And then this whole little section, the Phoenix Horns. So I get the horn section is called the Phoenix Horns. So we'll just touch briefly on each of them. Donald Myrick on sax, founding member of the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians, AACM. He founded that. He played the sax solo on One More Night, the Phil Collins song.
Solid. Oh, that's a great.
That's a
super
great sax
tasteful solo.
You want to listen to it? It's minute 347 if you want to.
Well, okay, since you
Scroll
know
through it.
exactly
I'll say
where
this
it
in time.
is,
Go
yeah.
to 347.
I'll pull it up. Yes, sir.
That's fine.
There you go, Donald Myrick.
All day long.
Money.
Donnie.
Money. On trombone, well, we can talk a little bit more about Donald. He got shot in a narcotic raid when a cop
good.
thought a butane lighter in his hand was a weapon.
No.
The old butane lighter. He played on every Phil Collins album from 81 to 93 when he was shot. So.
Jeez.
Louis Satterfield, or Louie, as he's referred to, on trombone. Played with B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and he actually taught Verdine White how to play bass.
There you go.
So he
Wow.
taught the bass player.
Give him a Lifetime Achievement Award.
And he wrote the bass line for Rescue Me. Oh, full circle. Back to old Fontella.
Lion King.
He didn't play on it, but he wrote it. So he doesn't play on the album, but he wrote the bass part on
Now
that.
that seems weird, doesn't
Yep,
it?
yeah. You would
Like-
think he would have gotten to get on stage or get in the studio.
Like-
he's just like he charted it out and gave it to him and didn't play it.
Weird.
but
Like,
wrote
let
it.
me show you how to do that. Like, suppose, assumedly, what's the word I'm looking for?
That's good. Assumedly works.
I don't even think that's a real
Assumptionally.
word. Anyway, yes. Assumptionally speaking, at some point,
Hypothetically speaking.
there you go. You would assume that at some point he was like in the same room with the guy
the
or
bass
gal
guy
who played
playing
the
the
bass
bass.
part. So why didn't he just? That's very strange to me. We're gonna have to do a separate episode, like a Making the Murderer episode mini documentary.
on Louis Satterfield.
Spinoff.
Yeah.
One of the trumpet players, two trumpet players. One, Romley Michael Davis. Could find nothing notable about him. Sorry, Mr. Davis. The other trump player, Michael Harris, was in the Gap Band, Chi Lights, Denise Williams, George Clinton, Macy Gray, and it's funny to me that that three of the four went on to do other things. And so I'm going to go back to the fact that Michael Davis did nothing. Like, he was on this song and in Earth, Wind, and Fire, but he was so committed to this that he didn't venture out.
Branch out.
So
He's
that's
like, I got a good thing here.
He's
I'm
like,
good.
yeah, I'm comfortable with
Yeah.
here with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
On keyboards, I can't find who played keys on this song because they have multiple keyboard players in that era. So I'm going to talk about Larry Dunn because he was their key player at that era. He played keys player with them, but David Foster also gets credit around that time too. So we can talk about him for forever. But Larry Dunn played on Shining Star and That's the Way of the World. On drums and percussion, Fred White, also brother of Maurice White, left the band in the 80s and nothing's really said about it. So like he left in the 80s, I don't think on hard terms. Obviously he's family, so... but I would think it would be tough to have a band leader who's also a drummer and play drums for his band.
That's a big personality.
Yeah, exactly.
Already.
You guys are both drummers,
Yeah.
so you can probably comment more on that. Like if you being drummers, if your band leader was also a drummer, you think he would,
And also your brother.
and your brother,
Like,
right?
Yeah, I wonder if they were. Do you know which one is older?
I would imagine Maurice, but
I don't
that's
think
just
it matters.
yeah.
It don't matter in
Just
that.
it might be even harder. Well, that's true. If you're the younger brother, it's probably hard to take instruction from your older brother. But if you're the older brother, it's probably hard to take instruction
Yeah.
from your younger brother. So.
Yeah. So good job, Fred, for your. And he came back in 2003. So he wasn't gone forever. Ralph Johnson on drums and percussion is actually inducted into the Hall of Fame as their drummer. So he's listed as the drummer because he was with them through the whole time, but he played percussion on this particular track. Two guitar players. One, we talked about his guitar part earlier, and I'm going to get on him last. I'm going to save him for last. Al McKay. But Johnny Graham, he does a solid solo on Love's Holiday on the All in All album. That's the best thing I could find by him. A guy named Johnny Graham. But Al McKay is the main guitar player that does the he helps in the writing. He's a left-handed guy. He started with Ike and Tina Turner. He had this VHS that came out in the 80s. It's Al McKay Starlicks. So it's like one of those learn to play.
I love those.
Which are great.
I love them.
I know, I'm the same way. It's funny watching a left-handed guitar player teach guitar to me.
Yeah,
it's weird. So this is definitely for left-handed players. But
It's for that, but also like when you hear church players that grew up listening to this, and then you'll hear those licks in church songs.
Sure.
But like, amazing, it's give it a bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny. He plays in a cut-off sleeveless T-shirt, and his Jerry curl is money. So if you get a chance to look up Al McKay's Starlicks, do it. I watched about 10 minutes of it, and I counted. This is no joke. He used this phrase. It's kind of a boogie woogie. More times than I could count. I got to about 6, and I only watched like 10 minutes, and I was like, everything is kind of a boogie
one
woogie.
conversation where I can say it twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Good
one.
job, Al McKay, on that. And man, he loves the E sharp 9 chord, the Hendrix chord. That's like his chord. And he doesn't even reference it throughout. He's like, and then you play the chord. He just says the chord.
He's like, I found the one.
This is the chord.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, pick up Al McKay's Starlicks. It's good stuff. And speaking of Jerry curl, I want to go back to something that Janson said earlier when he referred to this as Afro pop. Okay. Off the top of your head, what's everybody's best Afro they can think of? Mine would probably be Questlove from The Roots.
Oh,
That's my Afro of choice.
I'm gonna go later years Prince maybe.
Okay.
Right? The big.
Okay. I was
big
thinking.
Prince.
Okay,
Big Prince.
big hair
Yeah.
print. Okay,
Big hair Prince.
that's a good one.
I always think of two people. I think of Diana Ross.
Oh, female
oh,
Fro.
man.
Yes.
Auntie.
Yes.
Secondly, I think of Little Michael.
I don't know who that is.
Little Michael Jackson. I'm saying,
young
whenever he was
Michael.
little, whenever he was young.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Gotcha.
little. I was thinking of the movie Longest Yard. Little Michael. Like, That's
Okay.
what I was thinking.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I thought
Young
that was like
Michael
a rapper
Jackson.
now, like Little
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, that was my assumption.
If it was
Like
a rapper, I
Lil
would have
Bow
said
Wow?
Little Michael. Little Michael.
Little Michael.
Little.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Those are good.
Good Afro
solid
references.
Afros. Man, now I'm starting to think though. Like,
No, they're all coming.
Who did we miss?
After
You know
I
what
start
mean?
saying them.
Yeah,
they're
no,
all
if you're talking about guitar players, you got Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
you got
true.
the Hendrix Fro.
Both.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Flo.
Yeah. Flow.
So yeah, that's Meet the Band of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Outstanding.
Do you know their band was originally named the Salty Peppers?
The salty
No, that
peppers.
it was that their whole entire band name, or was that? I think that Maurice White was the original like the band it is that he first started. I don't know
That's
if
his. It's not all these people.
Okay,
but it's
that's
like
what it was.
him and his brother and a couple of them.
Okay.
And sort of eventually
yeah,
morphed
that
into Earth, Wind, and
morphed
Fire.
into Earth, Wind, and
Okay.
Fire. But
Salty Peppers, they should have stuck with that.
yeah, not
Yeah.
Cheryl James and Sandra Denton, Salt and Peppa,
Right.
Come
or
on now.
Deidre
To not be
Roper,
confused
DJ
with.
Spinderella.
DJ Spinderella. Oh man.
Push it real good.
Shouts out to Salt and Pepper. Yeah,
Ba-
do
ba-da-
it. If you're gonna push
ba-
it, push it real
real
good.
good.
I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Exactly.
Don't hold back.
Life lesson.
If you're gonna, yeah, shoot. Wow, that's a good meet the band. Great. I mean, of
Pretty
course,
extensive.
Earth, Wind, and Fire is like one of the most top notch, like, you know what I mean, bands. And it's funny you said this at the beginning, Janson, because you were like talking about their genre, right? It's called, like, it's listed as Afro pop, but you said included in this, they hit R&B, they hit funk, they hit pop, they hit jazz, like all that rolled together is Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
There are very few bands that can pull that off, especially with any kind of credibility.
Eclectic.
Yeah, very eclectic and very, very solid. Like really, really solid at it.
So if one of us has to be Earth and one of us has to be Wind and one of us has to be Fire, are we all three Fire because we're all gingered?
Yeah.
Or who's Earth, who's Wind?
I feel like I can be a third of Earth.
I don't know.
You choose Earth.
I don't know how to answer this question.
I don't either.
I was just trying
I
to
was
scroll
do-
through jokes. The closest I could get was trying to make a Captain Planet joke for like wind, water,
Oh, okay,
heart,
that's good.
whatever.
I was
But
thinking okay, you play paper, rock, scissors. What's your go-to? Do you guys have one that you mix it up?
no, I mix it up.
That's good. And you're a good paper, rock, scissors player. I typically feel like rock is the strongest. So I'm just
sounds like the
rock
strongest
That's
should
what
either
win
way.
more.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever do Ninja Cowboy Bear?
What? No.
Or you never did that? Oh, where
I,
you do the
I hate whenever
back-to-back
I hate
thing?
whenever you play with these kids because there's like 15 more that were
Yeah.
whatever. They're like, oh, bomb,
Stick up- yeah.
oh, tornado. Like,
We used
forget
to
you,
do
kid.
one in church called Soldier Daniel Lion. We're like, yeah, Soldier beat Daniel because he threw him in. Daniel beat the lion, and the lion ate the soldier. So yeah,
What if you
Wow.
did one that's Daniel Lion Jesus and just Jesus
Just
wins?
Jesus
It's
all
just
the time.
Jesus.
Wins.
But you got to do like the cross thing, like
Yeah.
yeah.
that was good.
Wow. Okay.
Jesus
Weird
wins.
sidebar.
I feel like
Sorry,
we've gotten a
guys.
little off track
Yeah, we
with this
kind
sidebar.
of digressed. Sorry, that was my fault on that one.
Okay, so I want to hit a little bit more about the kind of some of the stuff inside the song, and a little bit of music theory. This got some interesting theory without getting crazy technical. But I want to talk about, first of all, why the 21st? I don't think we talked about this yet, right? Why September 21st? There's a very specific reason
Okay.
that they chose the 21st for the song, and that reason is that it sounded better than the other numbers.
Oh,
It has no significance whatsoever. September 21st means nothing.
I thought it was going to be
Okay,
like the
I
Mayan
thought you were-
calendar.
No.
Going somewhere with-
Allie Miller said, we went through all the dates.
Allie
Do you
Willis.
remember? I'm sorry. Why did I put Allie Miller? Shouts out to Allie Miller if you're listening. Shouts out to you. Allie Willis. I literally wrote Miller in my notes.
Is that a friend of yours?
Yeah. Like, it's
Yeah.
so weird. Okay. Anyway, shouts out. Go buy Allie Miller's album if you're listening. Allie Willis, sorry. She said, we went through all the dates. Do you remember the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and the one that just felt the best was the 21st?
Just say it as they would say it. Do you remember the first night?
Right, yeah. The
The
second night of
third. Like they had to get all the way up to
21.
21st.
Like, I would have
30th night.
just gone, you know what, let's change the lyric. The numbers isn't working. You know what I mean?
You know that you got at least 30 times to get it.
Can we
like,
stretch out?
one out of 30?
Can we stretch out May?
Right.
Do you remember the night of September? I don't know.
Yeah. And she said, I constantly have people coming up to me and they get so excited to know what the significance was. And there is no significance beyond it. It just sang better than any other dates. So sorry. So another mystery solved. We're just solving mysteries today.
Man.
Just one after the
Myth
next.
Now
Busters.
fires all over the place.
Yeah. I want to talk about a line I believe it's in the second verse that says, blue talk and love. That's the line in the second verse. Blue talk, I don't know if you guys know this or if the listeners know, you may already know that blue talk, quote unquote, refers to language or speech that is like inappropriate or off color.
Okay. I did not know
So,
this.
like when a comedian uses salty language in their act, they are said to be, quote unquote, working blue.
Okay.
But what you may not know, even if you know that, and this is what I learned in the process of researching the song, is that terminology originates from the phrase "the blue pencil," which refers to editing pencils that editors used,
Okay.
and by extension, censorship. So editors used to use blue pencils to mark changes to scripts so that they were easily identifiable. You knew that if you saw a blue mark, that the editors were basically censoring something or changing something. And so blue pencils gave way to offensive terms being called blue, and that's where the blue talk referred to in the song comes from. They're like making kind of off-color jokes with each other, in a flirty way, like
Making
Okay.
blue jokes.
yeah, making blue jokes, blue talk and love. So they're kind of being, like, a little extra friendly with their jokes, maybe. So I thought that was interesting. Some
A little
of them,
PG-13 with
yeah,
your joke.
exactly. PG-13 with the jokes, blue talk and love. We're just, it's such a feel-good song. Like, it's just we're just out having a good time, like me and you, September. This is happening. This is,
All you need is a light jacket.
yeah,
The
just
21st night. of
tied
September.
around your waist, and
Yeah.
just in case,
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to a ball game, it might get cool at night, maybe,
Maybe a cap.
yeah. Nice little. I feel like we're gone into soft talk.
Just get close to the mic and a lot of air.
Please welcome our
Do you
guest.
guys have people that
sweater.
are in your life that every time they go to a movie theater or a restaurant, they're like, I have to have my sweater, like in
Yes.
case it gets chilly. My wife's like that. She's like, oh, we're going to the movie theater.
But she
I
can't
need-
bring her own sweater. She's got to have your
I need-
sweater.
I need you to
Hey,
bring your, are you
your
going to wear your
jacket?
jacket in? That's the.
You have your jacket. I know I have my jacket.
But I don't want to wear it. If you wear yours in, I can use yours
Right.
inside. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you're out in the cold.
Exactly.
Hey. Okay. All right. I do want to talk about just a little bit about the music theory of this song because it is a driving force of what makes this song so awesome. Because it's one of these songs, and we've talked about a specific chord before. I believe it was in the Monkees episode, on the Pleasant
Okay.
Valley Sunday episode. We talked about a chord that was the bass was the root note of the song, but the chord over the top of it was the flat 7 chord of the scale. So if you're in the key of C, you'd be talking about a B flat over C chord. Or in this case, we're talking about a G over an A. So a G chord on top, specifically a G major 9 chord in this case, over an A bass note. And that's the only time that this song goes to the tonic note, which is this song is in the key of A, and it never really lands on an A chord. It lands on this G major 9 over A, which doesn't really resolve.
Keeps you guessing.
And it tells you like that chord is basically acts as
A setup chord.
a setup
Here's
chord.
where I'm going.
Yes. So you get in this cyclical pattern that the music to the song never lands. It never stops. It never resolves the tension, but the tension is good. You know what I'm saying? Like the tension is a party, so why would you want to stop? So
You're going to have to fade it out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so much so that you just can't stop it.
Yeah, if you get stuck playing the song, that's what you do for the rest of your life.
Fine.
You just So it's a thing where it dances around the one and it sets up the one. It's going 4 3 4 3 2 6. Is that right? That kind of thing, and then it lands on "Never a cloudy day." But that is the chord that has this. Let's take a listen real quick. And I just want us to hear this chord in that context and think about how it sets up the fact that it's basically that chord only sets up the 4 chord, which is the chord that comes next. It never really lands. If it did land, it would sound weird. Do you have your guitar?
Yeah.
Go get your guitar. We're going to do an experiment. Okay, so this is unprecedented in the history of the podcast. We brought an actual musical instrument into the studio with us. JP brought his trusty Takamine guitar, and so I'm going to kind of demonstrate what it might sound like. I haven't done this, so what it might sound like if this chord landed on the straight 1 instead of this chord that leads to the next. I hope it's going to sound
This
weird
is
as
gonna
heck.
be fun.
Oh man! So okay, so you've got. Right, and then okay, that's what you get. But so let's try. Body, say that you remember. Body, dancing in September. Body, never was a cloudy day.
It's not.
It's not as bad as I
It's not
expected it
awful,
to be.
but it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty. It loses
It's too pretty.
It loses its guts.
It's the other way is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not as
It's
awkward as I hoped it
manageable
would be.
because, and I laugh because I was used to hearing it the other way, but it's the chord, so
Yeah.
it's not wrong. It's
Yeah.
just missing a little something.
It's missing the flavor that keeps us. This song, I don't think it would be the same level of groovy.
It's missing the Afro pop.
It's missing
Yeah,
the
that's it.
Afro
That's
pop.
good, yeah.
Aren't we all? I mean, I know I am.
Yeah.
I'm definitely missing the Afro pop. Yeah. So, okay. I was hoping that would just
That
be
worked.
super
You were
cringy.
hoping it would just be gross. But
Yeah. I was hoping it would feel
I liked
disgusting.
the lesson though because that was a good little lesson. We got
Sure.
to audibly,
Yeah,
visually,
audibly, yeah.
experience the lesson.
Yeah.
was
How about
good.
that? So, yeah, audibly, not orally.
There we go.
Right? Orally. Orally is hearing, orally is speaking. So both is how normal, but audibly you got to hear it out loud. I'm tired now.
Vocab lessons.
Speaking of vocab lessons, I want to hit one more thing before we're finished with this episode. I want to talk for just a second about the Oxford comma.
Roll it.
So this band is Earth, Wind, and Fire, not in observation of the Oxford comma. The Oxford comma is the comma that if you have a list of 3 or more items, it's the comma that goes after the next to last item in the list. So if you're making a grocery list and you say, I need eggs, bread, and milk, if you use the Oxford comma, you would say, I need eggs, comma, bread, comma, and milk, right? So as to differentiate and make sure that the reader knows that the last 2 things are not connected, right? So that it's...
You don't need bread and milk combined or whatever the second.
Yes.
I don't
Exactly.
need milky bread.
Exactly. So like there are some really bad Oxford comma accidents out there. You know what I mean? Bad Oxford comma examples. Let me hit you with just a couple so that you understand what I'm talking about. Here's a list. I'm just pulling up a random BuzzFeed list. 15 reasons you should definitely use the Oxford comma. So with the Oxford comma, we invited the strippers, comma, JFK, comma, and Stalin. That's really random. Without the Oxford comma, it is we invited the strippers, comma, JFK, and Stalin. So like the implication is the first is you invited 3 separate people, right?
Sure.
But if you just say we invited the strippers, comma, JFK, and Stalin, it's that JFK and Stalin
Are
were the
together.
strippers.
Oh,
Like, you know what I'm
okay.
saying? We invited the strippers, JFK and Stalin.
Okay.
Okay. That is why the Oxford comma is important, right? Why do all these examples involve strippers? This is so weird.
Because why not?
So they're all about inviting people too. BuzzFeed, what's your problem? I had eggs, comma, toast, comma, and orange juice versus I had eggs, comma, toast and orange juice, where you've got like orange juice on top of the toast. You know
Might
what I'm
work
saying?
better with like mac and cheese, like bread, comma, macaroni, comma, and cheese.
Yes.
Or bread,
macaroni and cheese. Yes.
Man, I just
Yeah.
Who needs BuzzFeed? You
Who
got,
need- yeah.
I just hey, my
Yeah, forget
headphones
you guys.
back. That's awesome.
Oh, cool. So I personally am a big subscriber of the Oxford comma. People started deleting it. Not people, really newspapers started deleting it to be able to fit more words in the same space of newsprint. But I'm a strong proponent of the Oxford comma as I feel it is a clarifying thing. And now it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? And newspapers are dead anyway. Who cares? But Earth, Wind, and Fire, no mas to the Oxford comma. It is Earth, comma, Wind, and Fire. So I don't know if there's a significance there or if they really just didn't put much thought into it.
Fiery wind.
I know
Yeah.
that the band name came from his astrological chart, as he's a Sagittarius. So
Okay.
he's Earth, Air, and Fire.
Okay.
But it just doesn't roll as good as Earth, Wind, and Wind. It just
No,
sounds better.
Now, and then again, Captain Planet is Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, and Heart. So if you combined Earth, Wind, and Fire
And Heart. Holy cow.
wow! I mean, that would be Captain Planet.
That's a good way to look.
Shoo! Let's see: Earth, Air, Wind, Water. We need a water band to create.
Aqua.
To
Remember
create.
them?
Is that Barbie Girl?
I think so,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh!
Yeah.
No.
Aqua's green. That's what I was thinking of. Agua in Spanish.
Yeah, but
aqua is kind of
it's water related.
water
Yeah.
related,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. There's got to be somebody, but who's a good water band, water act that you could create the perfect musical Captain Planet with? Let us know on Twitter. Hit us up at Great Song Pod, and let us know what water band you would use to complete the musical Captain Planet.
to go with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, that's right. Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Heart,
And Aqua.
and who? What if that's the best one? If that's
man.
the only
Please,
water
someone
band?
trump that.
Yes, please. The Little River Band, maybe.
There you
Or
go, that's
so-
even
you know what I
better.
mean? It's like somebody, anything. Somebody save us from Barbie Girl being involved in this. Okay. So that's about going to wrap it up for this episode of the Great Song Podcast. Shouts out to Janson Furrow.
Thanks for
Thanks
hanging
so
out
much
with us, Janson.
for being our
Yeet.
guest this week. Where again can the people find you on social media?
Janson the Ginger.
At Janson the Ginger. That's JANSON. Not Jason, not Jansen,
Not Jasmine.
not Jasmine.
Not PP.
Not PP.
Jansen.
At Janson the Ginger. It's kind of a boogie woogie. We'll see you next week. I'm Rob.
I'm JP.
Go listen to some music.